Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good to see everyone. Long time no see or long time no hear. I know I haven't produced anything in quite a while. Hopefully I've been missed. Who knows? Um, and as I've said in other videos, I normally don't produce videos unless I have something to say or I am inspired by something in this life that I think maybe I could give to the people and give, inshallah, some benefit. Well, I was quite humbled and quite eager to make this video when I was asked if I would be so kind as to say a few words about the IMACD, which is the Islamic Ministries and Community Development Organization that is run by Shaykh Dr. Faruq Post. How could I not, when I have benefited so greatly from the Daw'ah material that the Shaykh in his organization produces? How many times have we been in a situation where Daw'ah was needed, but time didn't afford, or someone asked a question that was maybe needed some detail and some depth, and maybe you couldn't go that far? How many times have you been asked a question that might have been above your level? How many times have we been in situations where maybe you've seen another Muslim doing something in his ibadah that maybe was incorrect or that you understood to be incorrect, and you wanted to say something to him, but maybe you don't know that person well enough to approach them and say, hey, I noticed this or noticed that. Where'd you get that from? Enter the Daw'ah material that the Shaykh produces. The Shaykh in his Daw'ah material touches on so many important topics that we deal with as Muslims in this dunya. He produces Daw'ah material that explains all of the non-Islamic holidays, your Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Easter, all these different things. These things that we as reverts to Islam have to deal with as far as our non-Muslim family. Well, why aren't you coming to Christmas? Why aren't you going trick-or-treating? Why can't your kids trick-or-treat? Why can't this? Why can't that? This Daw'ah material that the Shaykh produces answers all of that. It's clear, it's concise, it's cut, and it's based on Quran and Sunnah. So in all of his Daw'ah materials, he gives the evidences for why what's being said is being said. And that's important. When we deal with the non-Muslims, especially when we project an Islamic persona or we wear things that call to Islam, it's important that we are or can answer questions that they may have. We only get so many opportunities to give da'wah, so we should do our best to maximize on all of those situations, be it at work or be it in your, regular leisure life. I will put this in lay terms. I want to keep it simple. I was humbled, and I was quite pleased when I was asked, hey, could you say a few words? Because I've benefited from the organization and from the Daw'ah materials by way of having tangible information that I could give to somebody, to give them the opportunity to read in detail and in depth what their question is, to be able to answer it. Telling somebody something, alhamdulillah, that's great to be able to do that. But sometimes it doesn't click in people's heads. So when they have information in their hand, they can reread it, they can go over it, they can research it. Allah guides whom he chooses. So we do our best to call the people to the haqq. Now, again, I was asked about this video, or it was mentioned to me a few weeks ago. And, life happens, work, different things, family, different things. And I wasn't able to produce the video in a timely fashion. And we know in the Quran that we may plan, but Allah is the best of planners. It just so happens that I was at my place of employment. I was on my break, and I went out to my car to listen to a lecture for a class that I'm taking. So I get into the car, I lean my seat back, and I'm listening to this lecture. I put it on. And as I'm leaning my seat back, I see these two young girls walking toward the front of my car, looking directly at me. So I'm like, okay, what is this? I let the window down, put my seat back up, and I say, can I help you? And she said, we're from the Church of Latter-day Saints or something to that effect. They had like a little name tag placard thing on her shirt. They're Mormons. And she was attempting to call me to her church. She says, would you be interested in coming to the church? And I said, well, I am Muslim, so no, I'm not interested. She says, well, do you know of anyone else that would be interested in coming? And I said, well, everyone in my circles are Muslim as well. So I'm sorry, I can't help you. She walks away. I lay my seat back. How many of us have heard the phrase that we're either calling or being called? And as soon as they left and I laid my seat back, that hit me in the head. They're calling you to something, but you didn't call them to anything, which is a responsibility of the Muslim, is to help the non-Muslim, to help the person who's not guided, to help the person who doesn't have the information, to get that information to them. And it dawned on me, hey, I got all that Daw'ah material in my trunk from Shaykh Faruq post. Man, I jumped up out of my car. I put together couple little packets, the concept of God in Islam. I hope this is not backwards. What is Islam? Tawheed, Jesus, and I had one other thicker book that I wish I had more of, but I grabbed those out of my trunk and I'm looking around, I'm scanning the parking lot and I don't see anybody. I'm like, man, where'd they go that fast? And then I noticed they got into a car, saw the tops of their head. They got into a car. So I go running over there, tap on the window. The girl turns and looks at me and she was like, what is this? She rolls down the window and I said, I meant to give you this. This is a gift. Here you go. And I gave them both this Dawah information. Now we know that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam could not guide his uncle, that Allah told him, don't worry about it. I guide. You don't guide. Your job is to convey the information. That is the level or mark that we try to live up to, is to give the people the information. The IMACD provides that information in clear, concise pamphlets that are upon the Quran and the Sunnah, and it's the haqq. So I was very happy. That was just another sort of icing on the cake, for being able to praise and call people to this organization to help out, to reach out to the Shaykh, and to reach out for those who need Dawah information. Be it a masjid, the things that he produces are good to put at the front of the masjid or have them in your car, or, because you never know when an opportunity to help someone is going to arise. The information is invaluable. It's invaluable. I mean, and it cuts down, I don't want to say cuts down the conversation, but having that tangible information in their hands gives them the opportunity to not only hear what you say, but then to go home and ponder and read and reflect and possibly research, and then, inshallah, be guided by Allah. I will try to put the link to the website at the end of this video, if I can figure it out. I'm not the most technologically sound guy running around, but I'll do my best. Support the Shaykh, support the information, support the organization. IMACD, Islamic Ministries and Community Development. I believe it's .org. So if I'm wrong about that, excuse me, but I believe it's .org. Also, keep in mind, we live in a capitalist society where things are not free. The information that the Shaykh produces, the information that the organization produces, I'm sure costs money. They have to produce it. The stuff isn't, these pamphlets, the paper, the printing, it's, everything in the information costs money. So don't hesitate to donate. This is not what the Shaykh asked me to do. He didn't say, hey, get on there and, make a video and drum up some money. No, none of that. But this is just me using my common sense. The stuff is not free. This is another thing. He's never sent me anything as far as the Daw'ah material and the boxes. And he sends big boxes that he then said, this cost me X amount of dollar. Could you send X amount of dollar? Can you pay for this? All of the Daw'ah material has been free of cost. Now, I'm speaking for me. I can't speak for anybody else or, I'm just telling you my situation. So reach out to the Shaykh, reach out to the organization, help out in any way that you can, and use the material that's being produced for the purpose of calling people to this blessed religion. I was very pleased to make this video. I think it's very important. I think we have to support these organizations that produce the information and they guide the people or help to guide the people to this blessed religion. So with that, I just wanted to make a short video, say a few words, and hopefully, people will reach out and take a look. It's www.imacd.org, I believe. And again, I will try to put it in the video, like a hyperlink if I can. If not, you have the address. From my lips to your ears. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakum Allahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.